Hello, welcome to Horror Monster Collectibles, where today we're going to be taking a look at this new-ish 1/6 Tarman action figure by From the Grave. From the Grave is a small little shop, and he did a run of 25 of these for returnofthelivingdead.com. So it's an officially released figure, and it was about $375 or so. I can't remember exactly for sure. It was limited to 25 pieces. But there was only like 13 pieces with like the split dog and stuff like that. So this is like the deluxe one. It has it's fully posable with an articulated armature. It's cast inside like a silicone skin, and it contains ball socket, wrist, ankle, jaw, neck joints, and it offers like a bit of motion, but you're kind of still, I feel like, a little bit limited by posability. It comes with a half-eaten brain and a gallon can of paint and a custom stand and the split dog, which is probably my favorite part of this thing. And it comes with a cool like Unita packaging. Now I had gotten this guy, this is like number 3 of the 25, and I gotten this guy last summer, I think in like June or something like that. And it had a little bit of issues, sent it back, and I finally got it back from him. He did, address the issues and stuff like that, so I appreciate that. So let's go ahead and spin this around and take a closer look. And then real quick, before we look at the figure, I wanted to show you the box because it is pretty cool. This is the top of it, and then it's got like a little Trioxin warning label on there. And then here is how it's packaged. So he spent a lot of time on getting everything cut out, and it does have this cool certificate with it. All right, let's start by taking a look at the figure himself. Get him off of his little stand here. And there is, I really like the sculpt work and the paint app on the face. We have a posable jaw, and the head does move around pretty good. Again, it's on that ball joint, which you can see here in the back. The only thing is he doesn't really look down too well because his outfit that's kind of covered in the tar is kind of blocking it from looking down too far. But if you want, I can look forward and have his mouth open, you have to kind of have his head tilting up a little bit, which works if you have like the torso leaning forward like he kind of does in the movie. Let's look at the torso. Torso is really well done. Again, this is all like a silicone, and then the outfit is also well worn, and it's got that goopy look to it. The back of it looks really well done too. I like the shading on the bones. Again, this is all soft stuff, and I think it's cast over like just like an like the usual, like the typical 1/6 scale body. Let's look at the arms. So we do have like the bones coming down through here, and that kind of turns with the wrist, but you can kind of straighten it up. It's like silicone jacket kind of moves with the forearm here. Let's look at the hand. It's all covered in goop. Look at the other one. The other one's slightly more open. We'll come down to the pants, which they're kind of fixed on there. I think there's like a little Velcro thing right here. But they're covering most of him. And come down here through, look at the legs. Got kind of exposed bottom of the legs here. And then finally we have the feet, which kind of sit on like a pile of tar that's dripped down off of him. But it's a genius idea because it adds more balance to the figure when you're posing them. So he can stand up without the stand, but I kind of like him with the stand. Now, as far as posability, you do have posability, but it is kind of limited. There's a bicep swivel here on the shoulder. Like, you can go out with it and stuff, but I would be very cautious because unfortunately, like with figures like this, you don't know exactly where the joint is, and I'd be afraid to kind of break it. You know, doing like major posing and stuff like that. It's kind of easier doing just like the ball socket for the hands and stuff, because you can see that and you can manipulate that. But when a joint is inside the arm and it's covered up, like it makes me nervous on moving it, because if something snaps, then you're kind of screwed. But you do have, I got like a little torso bend on here. You do have some posability, but I would say that it's limited. But I mean, it's much better than like the Trick or Treat Studios Tarman. But again, it is more pricey too. But overall, like, I think it's well done. The outfit's definitely more well done. I think the Trick or Treat Studios, like, everything's fixed on the legs. So here you do have like knee bends and stuff. I got this guy bent a bit. So you have a lot more posability, but it does suffer from the same thing that the Trick or Treat Studios does, and that is these little weird pieces like coming off the arm. I don't know why it's actually like this. I would figure like they would put them more at a down, like glue them on more at a downward angle, because most of the time I feel like, you know, his arm isn't going to be at like a straight 90-degree angle, and that's the only way that this stuff looks good. And even then, it looks awkward. It would probably be better served just to not even have that on the arm, or to have like the silicone sculpted where it had like some drips on it. But again, it looks better than the Trick or Treat Studios, how they handled it, but it still doesn't look great in my opinion. But that's a nitpick. So looking at the extras, again, there's only 13 of these split dogs, and they look fantastic. Here's the side. And then we have nice detail. I remember watching that as a kid, and I was freaked out about that dog, like falling on the floor and sitting there trying to bark and stuff. And then, I think he fell on the floor, can't remember. And here's a gallon of paint, which is really well done. It's got some nice aging and staining to the paint. And then we have the partially eaten brain. Which looks really cool. And then finally, we have the stand, which is just a typical 6 scale figure stand, but it's got nice graphic logo on there and then Tarman on there. But overall, it's a nice stand. All right, guys, so that's about all there is to go over on this review. Overall, I think it's a fantastic figure. It is very well done, and he put in a lot of work on this. Again, it's just a one-man operation. He offered these up about a year ago, and they sold out, I think, pretty much right away on Return of the Living Dead site. So they're bought up fairly quick, and it just took a really long time for me to get this guy back from him. Where I think like most people have already received their figures by now, but still overall it's a great piece. You know, I do have like the little nitpicks as far as, you know, having a, you know, plastic internal armature and like not really being able to see those joints and know exactly like the limits of, you know, movement that you get from it. But you can definitely get poses if you're subtle with it. Also, like a word to the wise, be careful when you're putting the head onto the neck post if you get this figure, because the neck post is just plastic. It will snap inside that silicone body, and then you're kind of screwed beyond that point, because there's no way to repair this figure, which is another drawback to like a typical 1/6 scale figure, where you just take off the clothes and repair or replace the figure itself, and then, you know, dress it back up. But overall, it's a cool piece. It's very unique, and I love the accessories. I love the split dog, and man, like, I always have wanted just a life-size split dog that's done up very, very well in the collection, and I've never seen that before. I've seen some split dogs, but they're like meh, and they have like from Return of the Living Dead, I have like a little split dog pillow, which is kind of cute, but I don't want cute. I want like a nasty, gnarly, like movie accurate split dog. That would be freaking rad. If somebody ever does that, or if you guys ever see that, please let me know in comments, because I would love, love, love to get one. So as always, feel free to leave me questions or comments, and I'll be happy to answer them. And I will leave you with one final 360 video spinning this dude. And as always, feel free to like and subscribe and click the bell for notifications for new videos. And until next time, I will see you guys later.